All right, let's see. Looks like okay, it looks like I have audio. Second to let everyone know. And an announcement here. Where is that? Okay, everyone. If you're here in Discord, make sure you let everyone know we had to start a second stream. I apologize about that. I don't know what happened to the sound. I have a suspicion. I don't know for sure. And when I tried to refresh it, it just killed everything on me. I apologize about that, everyone. Welcome to the stream. We already got quite a few people in here. Even if we had a few hitching started, that's okay. Let's get here. Wendy, hello, good to see you. Animal Man, good to see you. Mizzlet's Turret, good to see you again. I think it's been a while. Good to see you. Mysterious, I think I've answered a few of your comments this week, White Wolf, in the videos. Manango, good to see you. Tony Montana, hello, welcome to the stream. I don't think I've seen you here before. Good to see you, welcome. Andrew, welcome. And Jake, good to see you back. Everyone, I am truly sorry about the audio hiccup. Yeah, but it looks like we're working now, and everyone seems to be able to hear me now. I guess that just reminded me not to get too comfortable with things working all the time, because we were having a pretty good streak there. So, yay. Okay. If you're ready and you're here, be sure to like the video. Give us a thumb and the channel out a lot. It really helps get the information out. Tells YouTube people like it, so they put it in front of more people and seeking the information, and actually helps us get information out to those seekers, which is the reason we're here. So make sure you're doing that. And if you have any friends who might actually be interested in the info on the channel, share it with them too. So let's talk about the week. First off, we crossed 2,900. We're actually past 2,950 subs. So you guys are really pushing into that 5K toward Halloween. If you remember the 5K challenge, if you can hit 5K subs for the channel by the end of October, we'll say November 1st morning, my wife gets to put me in whatever outfit she wants, as long as it's YouTube okay, which that's a pretty broad category. And I have to do a live stream in whatever she dresses me as. And somebody pointed out to me, of course, the fact that for her to use against me. The 5K, there are 4 individuals on Discord who are donating 4 Dragon Magic 101 courses that we'll do a drawing for. So if you're not in the drawing for a giveaway. Lots going on for this half of the year. This week has been very, very busy for me. TC, welcome. Good to see you. I've been working with Odin a lot. Me and him has got a little project we've been working on, and I'm hoping to be able to share more about that soon. But I actually got Lilith and Samiel got in touch with me. They're actually wanting me to go ahead and kick up and get started on that Clifothic Pathwork in order to focus on that. But as promised, when I do start the Pathwork, we will be starting to share some of those path workings and the experiences through there as well. But don't worry, the Dragon Magic 102 course is still getting filmed and edited. It just might be a little slower. And I got to mute this because it's going to keep beeping. Okay, there we go. That's done. That should help. All right. Let's see if we got any questions before I continue rambling. Happy Friday. Yes, happy Friday. And Tony Montana asks about Eggers. I know that name, Montana. I'm trying to Uh, okay, yeah. I've worked with eggers a few times, mostly because if I remember right, because I want to say goetic, but it doesn't sound right that it's a goetic spirit for me, unless it's under a different name. Um, maybe I saw him in the Grand Grimoire when I was um, researching through it at one point, but it's not a spirit I work with a lot. It's really not. It's not an entity I've worked with. So there's not a whole lot I can tell you on it. That there's not a whole lot I can remember. It's been a really long time. Let's see. Mystic Lavender says, my dragon guardian appeared to me last night through a dream. I think it has a different color. She was very playful. Yes, the guardians, they do tend to be very playful. And it is not uncommon for them to shift their colors a lot. One thing about the guardians where they don't actually have an element, they will constantly flip-flop their colors. And even their personalities will shift slightly for some of them. Not always, but definitely possible. And do get ready for them to shift their colors, because unless they have a reason for their color, like the twins here, they'll shift their colors. And Lauren, welcome. Hi. It's okay. You actually missed the technical malfunction we had. So it's okay. It is okay, Lauren. Glad you made it. So, but yeah, your guardian dragons, like I said, where they don't have a designated element because they're stunned. I mean, any dragon can shift their color, but they're really trying different things out, trying to determine what they want to do when they do move into a designated element. Because they're training up and learning to pick their career, in essence, if you think about it. Well, that would definitely stir up their energy and get them hyper, making dragon's blood oil. That would do it. This was just normal technical difficulty. The computer just didn't want us to have sound for some reason. And in the course of trying to fix it, it just shut down my feed, so I had to start up a new one. Luckily, everyone knows I'm an idiot when it comes to technology and quickly jumped over to the new feed. So wonderful there. It's always good to have your audience know you and know that you're a caveman in a modern time there. So if you're asking me, Adam, man, what brand of incense do I buy from? I honestly don't remember the brand. It's in an orangish red box. It has a dragon on it. It's in the cones, and I buy it in bulk off Amazon. If you're looking for organic or anything like that, that's not me. I don't buy it. I buy all my dragon's blood incense in bulk. But it's an orangey red box with an oriental dragon on the front. That's what it always looks like. I don't know the name of it. I search dragon's blood incense and I look for the box, or I just go back to my old orders and click reorder because it's so much easier for me. Personal preference. I do buy dragon's blood resin, but again, I don't have a preferred brand on that. I just buy what I can get when I can get it. I just don't use it for incense as much because it's not as easy to work with. I use it more for like dragon's blood oils and occasionally some rubs and all that kind of stuff. I keep it on hand, but I rarely use it. Andrew asked, what are the difference between regular dreams and dreams where entities are sending us messages? Honestly, it's a crapshoot, Andrew. It really is, because dreams largely they're just our brain trying to interpret and break down information and process and deal with stress and other things that are happening. That's what our brain does. That's why we dream. Now, when you move over that stress, that's one reason dream work is very interpretive. So nothing can be locked down as this is what I saw, this is exactly how it's going to happen. It is actually rare for a dream or a vision to play out exactly. It's largely interpretive, and it's a very personal thing. So the only thing that really differs there is the entity tries to pass the information on while you're in that dream state, hoping that you're going to A, receive it, and B, remember it when you wake up. They do understand it's not a reliable way to send information, but it is a method that they will try to use. So it is the actual same dream state. It's just they're trying to slip that information into that state while you're there, if that makes sense, Andrew. No, Wendy, the Comag and it's actually rare that your guardian dragon will go into the same element your Comag actually works in. So, for example, my co-magician is a chaos dragon, or was a chaos dragon before he became a magician. So when I first encountered him, I thought I royally screwed up in my practice. But both of my guardian dragons are looking to different elements specifically currently. So it's actually interesting to watch that. I know right now they're looking to their consideration, because we've sat down and discussed it, because I am curious what they're going to do with their life and their practice after I'm worm food. Because we all got to go get put in a box. Well, okay, technically I'm getting cremated, but I will be worm food one day. And I'm kind of curious what their plans are. And right now they're looking toward light and dark, which was interesting. I don't. They're considering moving into an element together, and they may even take up their elements, which was kind of interesting. They're looking at spirit, and they're actually looking at air, which I do see air. They love music and communication a lot, so I do kind of see the air. There's been some talk about fire, but that's pretty much, it's just on the outskirts of their talking. So right now, light, dark, spirit, and air seem to be that they're really pushing hard for right now, which is pretty fascinating. But yeah, by and large, it seems the guardians don't tend to gravitate toward the co-magician. And one of the reasons is it's that knowledge base and their tendencies tend to balance each other out. Let's see. Dennis, my man, mugs up. Appreciate the super chat. Awesome. Oh, and you got a question. Just stopping by. Oh, no, just stopping by. I will rewatch this when I can. All the best, Drake. Dennis, my man, I appreciate it. Mugs up. Definitely. Appreciate your support. Definitely, definitely. And I'll try not to screw it up too bad so when you rewatch it, it looks good. Or at least it's comical. Let's see. Pink and I've seen a few pink and purple ones. It amazes me how many pink and purple. I mean, they're not common, but it still amazes me how many I've seen working with the dragons in the draconic realms. Blue, green, and silver. Ooh, that sounds pretty. That really does. That sounds absolutely pretty. All right, let's see. Tony Montana asks, is dancing with an entity in a dream a good thing? Again, dreams are interpretive, so this is a general answer, and it's the only thing I can give you. Dancing with an entity in a dream usually means that there's some working or influence the both of you are currently having in one another's life. Generally, they're helping you through certain rhythms and patterns and energetic flows that's happening in your life and situations. And it's usually a positive effect or outcome that they're working toward. As far as seeing their face, that's pretty normal. outside Judeo-Christian lore, entities don't try to hide their face. They really don't. And even, yeah, I mean, many angels and everything, I've seen their faces just fine and dandy. I've never actually had an entity where I've had to worry about seeing their face. Seeing their face is just more of a, they know you're there. You know they're there. It's that eye contact respect thing. So that's pretty. But yeah, it sounds like that would be generally a good thing in most dream interpretation. Animal Man asks, "How do you know if your guardian dragon comes to you?" You do the ritual. Honestly, even if it comes to you before you do the ritual, you still need to do the ritual. Otherwise, the nine rulers and the Draconic Council of Elders will not actually recognize it as your official guardian dragon. So you actually do need to go through that process. And during that process and that ritual, actually go through asking very pointed questions and everything, and you end up actually face to face with your guardian dragon during that ritual. That's how you would know. Let's see, Mysterious Tap. Is the Samiel you work with in your Caliphathic stuff the same Samiel as the ruler of the Sephiroth of Garuba, the planetary archangel Mars? Very interesting question, Mr. Is the Samiel I work with in the Caliphathic stuff the same Samiel as the ruler of the Sephiroth of Gabora, the planetary archangel of Mars? Opinions seem to vary. And that's a good question. And I'm actually new to Caliphathic workings. I did work with the different spheres last year pretty deep. This path working is actually the first time I really dive in and start working with the Caliphathic ruling entities of those spheres. So I've not got a lot of experience working with Samiel directly just yet. So I'm unsure. I really am. But that is one of the things I'm hoping to find out. Because this is the Samiel that is viewed as the Archangel of Death, the Angel of Death. You know, has all those different titles. Some people think it is a face of Lucifer. I mean, there's so many correlations that get jumbled up in here. And there's so much conflicting lore on the entity of Samiel. So I'm really looking forward to getting to know him and working better and understanding more about him. Right now, I've just encountered him a few times. And if y'all remember at the beginning of the year, him and Lilith completely put the path working on pause. And now they're taking the brakes off. So I'm actually excited to dive in and get to know him better. Hello, Ariel. Thank you for joining us. Good to see you. Wendy asks, this is a tad random, but do you have any astral weapons and armor sets? I'm currently working on a second weapon and full body armor. Yeah, they're not that hard to carve. So, but yeah. Let's see. And part of the reason I don't use them anymore is the dragons really do put a heavy focus on trusting your own abilities and your own power, not on something external. So let's see. Mystic Lavender Watwell says, my dreams are extremely vivid, so I can remember dreams a lot. She was just extremely rolling around on the playground, flying around me. Think she was trying to calm down to do some stuff due to life stuff going on. Yeah, that makes sense. And there are people who have like massive vivid dreams. Me, I'm actually, I'd say 90% of the time or more, I just don't dream. I mean, my brain does the whole process if you hook me up to a machine, but there's just, I actually remember just blackness when I wake up in the morning. It's kind of weird. But actually that's relaxing to me, so it works well. But for those with vivid dreams, that is pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool, Mystic. It is good to see you having those experiences and building that relationship with your guardian dragon. Tony Montana asked, "Does Agaris know what I'm trying to communicate with him?" Yeah, honestly, if you've communicated it in any way and you've used his name, yes, these entities are very attached to their names in a way that it they're very aware of what we're trying to do. The question is, are we able to receive what they're trying to communicate? We're the monkey in the equation here. So if there's a hiccup in the communication process, it's going to be on our side. So yeah, if you have tried to communicate to him and in any way at all, then that connection would have been made enough for him to receive the information. Okay, Laura asks, do you have any specific ritual or way that you like to path work with Yggdrasil and traveling to the other realms? Yeah, actually, one of the things that I really do enjoy when I get the opportunity is I like to start with the physical realm because Midgar is part of Yggdrasil and the Nine Realms, and it's the one that we live in. So I actually want to start here. So whether you're using trance work or a form of journey work, I always start here. And if at all possible, I try to locate an energetic connection to one of the realms that links with Midgar. Um, so, for example, Vanaheim is really, really easy to link up with through water. So I'll try to find a water source that I can utilize for that. Not too difficult. Svartalfheim, if I can do it, I'll try and find a cave or some dark overhang of some kind, if I can. For Alfenheim, the woods is always a good one. But that's not always an option. Obviously, you can't always find something that you can utilize and link up with locally. But in which case, I would actually go from Midgar and just open a gate straight into the World Tree itself. The gates to each realm. And once you are at the gates, then it's about navigating those realms and working with the entities therein as best you can. That's the easiest way I can break that down, Lauren, and simplify it. So let's see if I can clarify. So once I actually enter the trance and I would open the gate to the World Tree directly, let's say I wanted to go to Alfenheim, and you will be able to find a path easily as marked for Alfenheim, and you'd work your way to it. Eventually, you will come to a gate. The gates to the Nine Realms are usually open. Usually, it's a rare thing that it's going to be closed down. And then you pass in. You're still going to have to explore and meet and find allies, unless you actually work with an entity that's attached to it. So for Alfenheim, Frey is a great entity to work with. Vanaheim, Freya, Helheim, Hell, obviously. So find an entity that you can connect with to show you around and introduce you. I hope that makes some sense, Lauren. But I do use a hailing right. And let's see what we got here. And I hope that makes sense. Oh, cool. Thank you. I'm hoping to actually do a ritual video to explain the process better at some point. It's just a matter of getting it done and actually working it so it makes more sense. See what we got. So Tony Montana says I felt it. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay. All right. So, all right. Looks like we've got all the answers or questions answered right now. How is that? Wendy asks if you met an eldritch horror type creature in the astral. I've heard they exist. They do exist. Eldritch horror is it's a generic term to describe many eldritch style creatures or entities that are very chaotic in nature or territorial. It's a vastly broad category. It's a generic term. Um, like if you were visiting the physical plane, you could easily say, "Have you met a human?" It's that broad, but it does describe entities that are very chaotic. They're very aggressive and they're very old. Um, and they are very heavily tied into specific areas of magic. But yes, I've encountered quite a few of them in my journeys through the lanes. Uh, some worse than others, but they do exist out there for sure. See, Mysterious asks, not sure how to phrase this question. Was quite affected when ancestral ancestral witch died so tragically in a house fire with her husband and daughter. Do you have any insights on how something like that could happen? She seems so powerful and to have so many allies, none of them woke her up. Honestly, there is one truth in the multiverse that people tend to forget about, and that's shit happens. And you're right, people can be powerful. But one of the things about being powerful is the more power you have, the more responsibility of self you have. And you are correct. There are many, many things and entities that potentially could try to wake you and would. But there's also issues that can come up. We don't know the entire scenario, what happens. So when you're looking at something like a house fire, there's a lot of things that happen to make sure you're not going to wake up, even if someone's trying to wake you up. Carbon monoxide, smoke. Um, I mean, there's just all these little different factors that could come into play. The entities can try to help and do what you can, but at the same time, they may not. And then there's the second part of that. When your time comes, your time comes. We don't necessarily know what that checkout date is or how we check out. Or what we can do is work to the point where we move on and ascend after we check out. So there are a lot of factors, and it's really hard to say because I know plenty of powerful magicians and witches who have appeared to die tragically. But if you were to call them up, to them, it wasn't a tragedy. Um, Now, obviously, house fires, from the living standpoint, it is always tragic, especially when children are involved or family members. But there is definitely a lot of things in there that we just, it's an infinite expanse of information that it would really be hard to nail it down. But that is one thing that I do try to remind people is the more powerful you get as a magician, the more the universe and the multiverse will throw at you because you're capable of more. So it's one of those things. It's not that it gets easier because more stuff comes your way, but you do have more tools to handle it. And everyone lets their guard down sometimes. I mean, it's sad. It is true. So I hope that helps, Mysterious. And it's always a sad thing. And I mean, I won't lie. Me and my friends, we often discuss, how we theorize we might end up passing on. Um, Hell, I'm actually a bit surprised I've lived this long. Um, I'll be honest, I didn't actually expect to make it to 25, much less as old as I am now. But that's one reason I do encourage people to try and enjoy life and make the best of it and try to be the best person you can and be better today than you were yesterday. Because we do have time we got. And that's one reason I do love my research, my work, and I try to enjoy every day. Let's see here. Mystic Lavender White Wolf asks or says, I think my dragon was here last night because my emotional state that I was trying to ignore. Due to life stuff, she was trying to calm me down through my dreams and playing with me. That's very possible. Now, see, here's one thing we humans like to ignore. We like to take it, put it in a box, stick it on a shelf, and ignore it. And we always have a reason. And try not to get overwhelmed. Entities really don't seem to care. It's like you don't ignore it, you deal with it. Part of what magic is. Magic's all about facing things head on and dealing with it. So instead of ignoring it, they'll try and bring us to a state of calm. In this case, they're trying to calm you down in a way that will make it easier for you to deal with, which makes a lot of sense. Now, there are entities out there that instead of calming you down easier, they'll just grab you and sling you into the deep end of the pool, sink or swim. It happens, but that is a factor of magic. Magic in the multiverse is not big on letting us ignore anything. So as you practice and stuff, if you take a day off, make a mental note that you're not ignoring something, you're just taking a day off. And that mental note can make all the difference. It really can. Because you're telling the multiverse, basically, you're taking a day off so you can give it your all tomorrow. Whereas if you make a note of ignoring this, the multiverse is going to get the sledgehammer to whack you with it. But it sounds like your little guardian dragon is working to help you get through that, which is awesome. And for what it's worth, whatever life is throwing, I hope you do get through it and get through it quick. Because I know it's hectic. It's always a big kerbobble there, White Wolf. So I'm not going to pry, but I do hope everything irons out for you quickly. Tony Montana asks, "Is the third eye help you to see the entities?" The third eye is, or your arcane senses. The third eye is a summary of what we would normally view as the arcane senses. And yes, that's exactly how you would see the entities. You need your arcane senses, or AKA your third eye, to be able to see, hear, and communicate with these entities. They're not going to do physical level at all. I know there's been stories of people's like, I've summoned an entity to full physical form where it's actually manifested with a physical body in the physical realms. And I will say I have put $5,000 up to every magician who's told me that, and no one has collected, not once. Full evocation usually does not. Well, I'll say I've never seen any proof of full evocation manifesting to the physical realm. Your arcane senses are not in play. So yeah, your third eye and your arcane senses are required. That's one reason I do start my students is grand shielding. And you can find videos on the arcane senses here on the channel where we talk about them and give you exercises to help develop them. Oh yeah, Oregon. Yeah, the West Coast right now, it's a bit stressful. That is for sure. That is for sure. So that's understandable. So yeah, that's one of those things you kind of got to process it and think, what are you going to do? Because you're right, there's not a lot you can do. You can't just, so you have to kind of ask yourself, what will I do if the worst should happen? And then have your game plan so you're prepared. And that's kind of how you find your peace in the chaos there. If that makes any sense. But yeah, I totally understand. And I'm glad your guardian's helping you deal with that one. and stay safe. Sadat, welcome. Hey, good to see you. And yes, you are back. Again, I'll do my best with your name. You always keep me on my toes when you pop in. Ooh. And Lauren, I do believe we're getting a bit of those storms you mentioned. It's been a bit rainy today. Now I think the storms are showing up. Girl, you done went and got me some storms. Hopefully they don't mess with the stream because I love storms. They're absolutely gorgeous. But hopefully they just don't mess with the stream. Animal Man asks, has you ever seen your co-magician in his actual form? Yes, I have. He actually does prefer to use his actual form when we're traveling the plains a lot, which honestly took some real heavy getting used to because the dude is a friggin' massive chaos dragon. It's terrifying. There's a reason when I met him originally, I was freaking terrified of him. So I do get to see him in his actual form in the astral planes and when we're traveling the planes. And he's impressive. He really is. But I am really glad that he sizes down and takes on a more humanoid form most of the time for other workings, because to this day, like if he was to be behind me and I expect to turn around and see a humanoid form, but he takes his true form and I turn around, it'll spook me. And the more you move into the deeper planes and stuff through dragon magic, you start seeing them in their more true form more often. You told Thor to go say hello. He better not throw another goat at me. No, I remember you. I do. I'm honestly bad with names, so the fact that you all can pop in here and I remember so many of you so well surprises me. I'm that guy. I can remember a face. I know a face. I walk up and it's like, hey, I know you. But without a face, I'm usually floundering. So I've actually been quite surprised at how well I remember you all because I don't have a face. But I do. I remember you all very well, which I think is pretty cool because it actually shows, how much. Because generally, yeah, I don't think I would remember most people on the internet like that. And that's something someone pointed out to me maybe 2 weeks ago because I didn't even realize it was happening. And honestly, it's one of the reasons when I started doing these live streams, it was a test. Could I even manage to get through? Because y'all know I'm terrified of cameras. But you guys are the reasons I keep doing this. I mean, wonderful thing. It means a lot to me that you guys show up and share in the chit chat and actually want to hear about my success and failures with my research. Which I got a failure for y'all tonight. Trust me. Let's see here. Animal Man asks, what is his physical characteristics? Well, I'm not. His physical characteristics are very sharp and harsh scales. His scales are very rigid, very sharp in nature. He is a European body type. Definitely on the more muscular, you've seen the muscular, more chubby style dragons, but he's on the more muscular side. Deep of this gorgeously dark purple that runs through those scales. And excited, hyper, or channeling energy that the purple trimming and marbling shows up. Is the easiest way I could potentially describe him. And as y'all noticed, do remember we have the super chat. So if I miss your question or anything and it's important, you can flag me in super chat and it'll flash up on the screen as Dennis did. or if you just want to donate to the cause to keep these videos coming and keep the equipment running. Hopefully we don't get hit by lightning again and fry more equipment. So Thor, keep the lightning out. Already had to replace enough stuff. But luckily, thanks to you all and your support, we were able to replace that stuff. So thank you. And we do have a Patreon channel too, which there should be a link for that below as well. Lots of perks, and level 2 and 3, they get spell work I do customized to help everyone through the month that's in those levels. And you can actually get coupons for courses and early access to stuff as well as the merchandise. I feel like I need to remind my Patreon members the coupons are there. Let's see. What did you miss, Trap J? Siggy, I rated on false account. What? Wendy asks, has your magician ever gender swapped? Mine takes on a more masculine form and dragon form, and it takes on a more feminine form. They mainly keep to one. I know a lot of dragons that do male, female, male, female, male, female all the time. Can kind of get annoying. But yeah, many dragons will gender swap. They give no butt about gender. They really don't. So that is pretty normal. My co-magician, I've never actually known him to gender swap. He definitely comes off as a very masculine figure and teacher. And I think this part is that's what he feels I need. I need that drive. I need that authority, which kind of surprises me because I do tend to listen to authoritative women more than authoritarian guys. But, you know, being Southern, it's just mama ruled the house. That's fools. So maybe there's that aspect to it, but he hasn't. The twins, the two guardians, they gender swapped a few times. But yeah, it's mostly the other dragons I work with that have gender swapped from time to time. Even Ingus Solor done it a few times. But my Comac has not. Though I do know many a student whose Comag basically does like Zephyr Seal, and they just keeps flip-flopping. Whatever the current gender of this situation would best fit the situation to help the person. Running down a creek at full speed ahead, it really is. It's just whatever's going to suit their purpose or their current viewpoint. Oh, well, you know I'm going to give you the magical weekly tea. Let me answer a couple more, and I'll let you know about this little foo bar we had going. See, how do you perceive this? Contacts with entities, or more like a conscious, imaginative experience? So I'm trying to process this one because you're bringing modern technology into my magic here. Let me make sure I understand the question fully. Okay, so I'm going to try this one. Starting out, a lot of this is subconscious through meditation and trance work is kind of really vocation. My arcane senses are trained enough that I do see them as clearly as someone standing in the room with me. I would actually say they look more real than CGI because a lot of the CGI I see, or at least the CGI I notice is CGI, I can spot it. It's like, that's CGI right there. So I would say they actually look better, more real than CGI in that case. But yeah, many people starting out, it is more kind of a subconscious theater of the mind experience. So it can really end up being both. And honestly, if all you ever achieve is the theater of the mind, you can still manage to do all these workings pretty easily with that. I hope that answers that question. Forcing a caveman to think technology. Whew. All right, let's see. Okay, so before I get into some more questions, the foobar of the week. So as you all know, I'm working with the Fae Queens in order to try and get a path working laid out. And of course, I got to work through the path working. And for those who keep asking when these path workings will be available, don't know. Because I have to work before I can actually figure out how to film them and get them ready. So I really can't give dates. Anything I do would be a optimistic guess at this point. But so I was given a ritual to reach out to one of the ladies of Fae, one of the ladies of winter. And I attempted the ritual without all the necessary knowledge and information on how that should work. So there was, we'll call it an energetic backlash. So it was a relatively warm day that day, and I'd been having trouble staying anywhere comfortable. But due to the energetic backlash, not only did I end up freezing for like the next 6 hours, absolutely freezing, and I don't even get cold. I'm that idiot that walks out barefoot in the snow. But my whole energy was just scrambled due to the fact that I attempted to do this ritual without all the knowledge necessary. I was just given a basic layout of how these rituals are going to go without all the details and how each one's going to affect each different lord and lady of the courts, and in this case, the winter court. And one of these days, I'm going to learn to stop trying to work ahead. I always get in trouble when I do this. But part of me, I remember I was making a pot of coffee and I was just freezing, thinking to myself, I'd rather be freezing right now than hot like I was earlier. So maybe it's not that bad. But then it's like 30 minutes later, it's like, I'm freezing. I got to warm up. And it's just one of those crazy little days where it's like, you got your good, you got your bad, and it's just depending on the random mood you're in. It's just, is this a good thing, bad thing? No one knows. But man, my energy was scrambled that day. It took me forever to ground out. And when I mentioned it to Mab, she laughed. She's like, "You got what you deserved." She just could not stop laughing at me for that one. But it was a lot of fun. And it did give me an idea for, it's like maybe I should talk to Mab about a temperature control spell for cooling off in the summer in the South. That might be handy. So, a lot of fun there. All right, back to the questions. Let's see. If I want to invite Odin, is the last step saying the purpose of your request, reason you invite him, what things you wish? Siggy, honestly, that'd be up to you. Honestly, most of mine, I just end with join me here and now in this place and grace me with your presence. That is it. I do my whole evocation right, and that's like the final line. I don't get into details specifically because I'm waiting for them to get there. I'll have the conversation with them when they get there. And I'll sit down, talk to them, let them know what's going on, let them know what I'm working on once they get there. That's really how I do it. I don't see any reason wasting the time with the other details. If it's just contact evocation, where you're just contacting and you're not inviting them in, obviously that's different because you're not asking them to come over. Contact evocation is more like a phone call. So at that point, yes, you could go ahead and plug it into the incantations and the chants at that point. But even then, still, I actually kind of just finish off with the join me here and now in this place and grace me with your presence, or some derivative of, and I wait for the connection to be completed before I fill in the details of why I'm calling, as it were. I hope that makes some sense. Lauren. Zephyrsil, non-binary. Yeah, Zephyrsil. I mean, it's been funny. It's like ever since I made that video, it's like he's kind of locked on to the male thing. It's just like he's like, I'll show you. It's like the second you start to expect something from Zephyr Seal, that's the moment he changes it. Animal Man's asked, do you know of any other occupations dragons have other than guardians and co-magicians? Yeah. First off, each of the rulers is actually a position that's held. Grant you, it's held for longer than we'll ever see them change. But then you got the elemental dragons. Any dragon that's working within an elemental current, that's their job. That is literally what they're doing. They're working within that current, and they're working for the balance of the multiverse as a part of that current. So they're going to do what they have to inside that current to maintain that balance. And that is essentially their job. Now, there is also, I'm wanting to do a video on it, but there is what's referred to as the Dragon Council of Elders or the Elder Councils and that kind of thing, which these are very, very old dragons that have quasi retired and they sit in their own little pocket dimension thing. And they advise. That's what they do. They advise. So if the rulers want an opinion and advice and kind of chew someone's ear, they'll go to these older dragons to get their opinion. They don't really make decisions that, it's like they don't have an authority to sway things or give orders, but their knowledge and their advice is heavily valued. So their opinions and views and advice actually does have a big impact. And that council could be viewed as a job or a retirement. In fact, Ingus Salor often refers to that particular pocket dimension and that council as the old folks' home. So, yeah, there are plenty of jobs out there, and whatever energy current or whatever they're working with will be their job, and it actually will dictate what they do. I hope that makes some sense. Let's see, Mystic Lavender White. And okay, which dragon can help out with focusing on artwork and work alone? For art, I would go to Zephyr Seal out of the 9 rulers. Zephyr Seal loves his art. He's very intellectual. He's very creative, just all over the map. And he is wonderful to work with art. Now, as far as career profession, if you're not talking art, I would actually move more to Terrafana because she has a great understanding of those foundational principles that you really need to make a career or long-term work succeed and prosper. So working with the two of them would be a great route to go, Mystic. Siggy asks, can I become a pagan? If yes, how? Pagan is a religion. It's a viewpoint. I'm not a religious person. I don't view myself as a pagan. But if you take up a religious viewpoint that would fall under that massive pagan umbrella and you begin practicing, then bada bing, you're pagan. As far as specific traditions, you got to look at, does those traditions have initiatory into them, like Gardnerian Wicca, for example. It has a very specific initiation, and if you're not initiated, you should not claim to be Gardnerian Wiccan. And I do respect those traditions and initiates, but pagan is a belief in spiritual connection and worship of nature and the earth and the spirits. So if you practice any technical belief system that falls under that umbrella, you could really, you're pagan. But I myself, I'm not a religious person, so I don't really personally claim any religion. I do the magic. I love my magic, but I also approach magic from a very scientific standpoint. And for those who do the religious thing, I think it's a beautiful thing. It's awesome. It's never jived with me. Pretty much, yeah. Matt was like, you dummy. Yeah, that's her. She has no problem calling me out on my stupidity. That's part of the beauty of our relationship. Tony Montana, have you seen your spouse? Yeah, I live with my spouse. I see her quite often. She does tend to scurry off when I do live streams. She has no desire to ever be on camera. I keep bugging her. Maybe one day. I doubt it'll happen, but it's not going to stop me from bugging her. Y'all know how I am. Glad to help, Ziggy. Glad to help. And it's something to be excited about. It is. It's something fun. You should really be excited. Let's see, Laura. I think I crapped my pants if I ever accidentally walked in on the other council. Accidentally walking in is not going to happen. You can't accidentally get there, so don't worry about that. That's one thing. Even how to access them. That's something I'm not technically been allowed to release yet. I'm wanting to release a video on it, working on it, negotiating it, but they may wait and have me put it in one of the courses. So that's the thing with the friend and ally system. You kind of got to respect them. So when they say don't release this yet, it's like, all right, fine, I'll wait. All right, let's see what we got. Wendy, has there been a war between elements/elemental rulers? No, the elemental rulers have never actually warred against each other. They work together. It is true that it may appear the elements come into conflict and clash, but that very clash itself is part of the balance, and the rulers understand this. And in fact, they actually work together to create these clashes to maintain the balance. There has not been an actual conflict or war between the elemental rulers. That was something I actually looked into early in my practice because I was actually curious about that myself. And yeah, in the entirety of Draconic history, it's not happened. Animalment, yes, a pocket dimension and an astral sanctum are very much the same thing. It's just the one that they've set up specifically. They got very, very good protections and locks on it. Even a deity can't waltz in there without them knowing or without their permission. They've got it set up massively well. But yeah, it is basically the same thing. Mystic Lavender White Wolf, yes. So I would definitely talk to those two. Also, go to the video playlist. There is a dragon listed under entities called X Boon Well. He's a prosperity dragon that also helps with career and finance. Also, reach out to him. His sigil and the video about him is already on the channel. Great dragon to work with if this is what you're wanting to do. So work with those three, come up with a plan, and get that into action. So, but those three dragons will definitely get you jump started. X-Boon Well is actually one of the main primary entities that is responsible for my career. His advice, his guidance, everything has really brought me from bankruptcy to the success I am now. So I really can't praise that boy enough. See, where did I get this good look? I got this off Amazon. It popped up one day, and I loved it because it is a nice heavier pendant, and it had a dragon on it, so it works well with the fact that I work with dragons and the Norse. So it was a pendant that kind of covered both sides of it. But you should be able to find it on Amazon. Try typing in Dragon Thor's Hammer or Dragon Melnjorn, and you should be able to find it. see. Matilda, I was about to say, do the puppy that I don't want my eyes burned out. Luna, I don't know where your comment's going there. Oh, blessings. Peachy, you, that Church of Corlager. Oh, Lord. The Hobbit Hole of Terrafada. I love that, Wendy. I love that. The Hobbit Hole of Terrafada. Yeah, the elders are a grumpy bunch, and they don't like you wasting their time. In fact, if you do waste their time, they're the ones that tended to pick on you the most because they're retired. They got nothing better to do. You wasted their time, they're going to waste your time. So yeah, I think being ready to work with them and everything, I could see why the dragons would want the elders in a course. And it's just all know me. I get excited to share information with people. So yeah, I'll handle it the way the dragons want me to handle it. And until then, but hopefully I get to share it soon, just for my own. Mysterious type. So I gather from your videos, imposter spirits are not a thing in dragon magic. Not so much. If you're using the Dragon's Flame ritual and you're trying to reach out to one of the 9 rulers, no, because that ritual is designed to cleanse, protect, and empower that area with draconic energy. And dragons are not cool with people impersonating dragons. They don't like it. They won't stand for it. I've actually seen dragons rip a human spirit parading around as a dragon and attempting to cause harm. I've seen them rip it to shreds. So yeah, they don't stand for it. And that's one of the things about that Dragon's Flame ritual. It's to bring that energy in and make sure that the dragon that shows up is a dragon. So you really do not have to worry about imposter spirits like you would in other cases here. That's not to say dragons can't be buttholes, because they can. I mean, I've told you plenty of stories where dragons have jerked me around. Granted, they had a reason. True. Yes, I learned a lot from it. True. But, that's not this. They can be buttholes. But, yeah, imposter spirits isn't as big a deal in dragon magic. The hard part with dragon magic is dragons are so demanding and do expect so much of you. They don't take excuses. Rarely are they okay with a day off. I mean, if you're sick or something, or you need that day to rest, that's one thing. But yeah, they will. They don't take excuses well, because you give them an excuse and they're like, "But you're this magician. You're supposed to, have control over your life and your domain and shape it. Where's the shaping?" And then you start feeling about that big, and you're like, "All right, fine." And then you get up and get back to work. Luckily, they will let you take a nap. But they are demanding, and they also demand that respect and that friendship. That friendship is so big. And that's one of the things that so many people have trouble with. They don't understand wanting to build a relationship and a friendship, because they want to view these things as entities to worship, and dragons don't want to be worshipped. So, but that's the hard side of dragon magic. Animal Man asks, has there ever been a fight between different entities? Yeah, I mean, entities fight all the time. I mean, the Egyptian pantheon fights with itself. The Greek pantheon fights with itself. Hell, look at the Norse pantheon. They love to fight. So, there's different conflicts and fights that happen, but it doesn't necessarily destroy the allies and everything that's been worked there. Anubis. Damn it, forgot to come this week. Hey, Drake. I like soup. Or is that supposed to be what's up? I don't know. Good to see you, Anubis, my man. But yeah, I do like soup. Soup's good. Ooh, whittling your own melon. Lauren, please send me pictures of this when you do it. Okay, please. I know you're on Discord. I would love to see that. As a fellow back porch whittler, I would love to see your work. I've not whittled in years, but I would love to see that when you get it done. And that would be a freaking awesome Melnor pendant. The energy in it, that would be awesome. And so did the spirit get destroyed? I'm not 100% on that one, but yes, spirits can actually be destroyed. As it's often said in the multiverse, nothing is true, even a soul. Oh, yeah, that's from a more satanic religious viewpoint of the higher Tony. As far as my higher self, my ascended self, those concepts, yeah, I've met that. I've met my higher self version. But again, not religious, so I don't necessarily view it from any of the religious or spiritual organizations' viewpoints. That's one of the reasons I didn't understand what you were saying. But yeah, I have met my higher self, my true self, whatever label you wanted to put on it, because it's like every day people's coming up with a new label for it. Holy Garden Angel, which that ain't a new one, but you know. Let's say Siggy, you do tributes for your own stuff. Help leave something for the Norse gods. The Norse gods do like tributes and gifts and stuff. Like if you look at the bloat right, in the bloat right, you use an offering or some kind, whether it be of meat and food, or even just a gift, like something from your stuff. What you give, generally, it would depend on what you want to give, what you want to offer, because it's that whole hospitality. You're showing thanks, you're showing gratitude to a friend or family member. So it depends on what you mean by your own stuff there, Siggy. But usually food and drink are the biggest thing in a bloat rat that you need to do, which I am hoping to do a video on a bloat rat at some point. I do tend to lean more to the hailing rat, and I do still offer drink or food during the hailing rats as well. But yeah, you can do that. It doesn't have to be something of your stuff particularly, usually food or drink. Yes, Lauren, that is a good point. I mean, they are accommodating. They will work and help you with it. But what I like is they accommodate you, but they try to build you up too, which is a great thing. It's one thing I do like about dragons. They are very demanding. They expect a lot, but they're also willing to accommodate and build you up to what they expect. So that's a good point there. Awesome. Thank you. I look forward to seeing that picture. Yeah, you kind of got me wanting to go find some wood and start trying to whittle again, get back in the habit of it. Uh, yeah, Mysterious. One of the dragons could help with ADHD and depression. Honestly, Cora Allegra can, but I'm not going to lie. Cora Allegra helping with emotions, it gets chaotic as crazy. It's like a torrential downpour or a maelstrom in a storm. It gets rough. She'll help you though. Honestly, for a lot of that, I generally recommend Terrafana or to work with Terrafana and Cora Allegra together so that you get that emotion and that foundational balance. working together to help, but they can definitely help. And ADHD comes down to focus. Again, Terrafauna helps really good with focus there. Though someone did work with Zephyrsil for ADHD, which I found interesting because he seems to have it himself, but he taught them to focus through the randomness. So the randomness remained, but they found a focus in there. It was really kind of neat how he done that. Let's see, TC's left. What kind of knife did you use to make your staff? Or make wands. TC asked, what kind of knife did I use to make my staff? I want to make wands for myself and have never done woodworking. I don't get all plain. Oh, honestly, my staff, I used a pocket knife. Actually, the one back here, I actually bought the wood as is. It's wax wood. And I used a hacksaw to cut it to size. And all the carving and the engraving and the runes on here is actually burned in it. I used a wood burner. I didn't use a knife to carve those in. So I actually took a pencil and just sketched them on there to get them right. And once I had them right, I went back with a wood burner and traced over them and burned it deep into it as opposed to carving it in. So that's my favorite way to do wands and staffs and stuff. Let's see. Mystic, Lavender, White Wolf. I like offering artwork and or something I have personally made myself. And that's totally doable. When I said it's usually food or drink, that's what would you call it? Traditional, most common. Pick your phrasing, but yeah, you can actually offer anything, and like artwork is great. I think we had this conversation last week. They do absolutely love artwork that you give or dedicate to them for different reasons. So yeah, doing artwork and dedicating that process to them, that's a great offering. Lauren, see, Zephyr is great for ADHD because he's so chaotic. It just vibes well with the way our brains work. He helps us to use the chaos brain we have to work smarter, not harder. See that at first glance you wouldn't think Zephyr Seal would be the way to go, but the guy knows what he's doing, and that's a great way that you described it. Use the chaos brain to work smarter, not harder. I love how you described that, Lauren. Absolutely great way to describe that. Oh, no problem, TC. Um, Honestly, it took me a while because I was trying to carve things. I'd get my pocket knife out that my wife got me well before we got married, and I would be sitting there going over it, trying to get it scratched in right and practicing with it, and I kept messing up. And I probably done this for a week or more before it occurred when I said to myself, it would be great if I could just, actually trace it on here with the pencil and then retrace it somehow with the knife and it just worked. And I want to say it was one of my friends who's not even metaphysical is like, well, you could trace it with a wood burner. And I was like, oh. And ever since then, wood burner has been my go-to tool. See, how do you feel the presence of an entity? Again, that's your arcane senses. You develop your ability to hear, see, and feel energy and entities through your arcane senses. And there is a video on the channel on the arcane senses. You can just go to the videos and search it up real fast. It'll cover all the individual arcane senses and give you exercises for developing them as well. Tony Montana asks, can dragons speak many languages? Yeah, they can speak any language. Dragons are actually fluent in any language. They have no problem with that. So, whatever language you are fluent in, whatever is your normal dialect, they totally comfortable with. Absolutely, Tony. And I'll be honest with you, Tony, your English is pretty freaking good. There's people in here who told me their English is bad, and I'm sitting here reading, and it's like, your English is better than mine. Uh, so, but yeah, no, they can speak any language, and yeah, work with the language in them that you're comfortable with. Definitely. Let's see here what we got. Siggy asks, can you see if a god is watching over somebody / special person? This is actually tricky because you have to catch them in the act of watching or presence around them. They don't always have to be around a person to be watching over them. So if you're just using your arcane sight to look at the person, you might not pick up on it. If you suspect, you could always just go ask them, the entity themselves. But it can be harder to trace because they don't even have to have their energy around the person to be watching them. So it is possible, but it's not as easy as just look at person tell. The energy or something has to be interacting in some way for you to pick up on it. Lauren, I know, right? Wood burner. It's like honestly outside my staff. If you were to ask me my favorite magical creation tool, it's my wood burner. I use that thing for next to everything. Even most of my wards, I use the wood burner on anymore, and sigils, like you said. So I even have a wood burned Dragon's Eye seal. When the dragons first gave it to me and I first channeled it, I actually made sure to burn a wooden one of it. Of course, I was back before we was able to get these fancier ones that look great, but that one still has a soft spot in my heart because I made it. Though I do actually use the tapestry ones now too. Most of the rulers, Mystic, really do have a lot of talents in many, many, many areas. You could actually spend a lifetime working with the 9 rulers and not tap out on everything they know. You really could. And then when you start adding in specialty dragons, the rabbit hole for dragon magic just goes so deep. It really does. I love that, Lauren. That's a great way to describe the ruler. Jack of all trades, master of all, or master of most. I love that. Siggy, when it comes to dream visions, there's the best you can do is put like a sachet of herbs or even a stone to ground you under your pillow to stop them. Uh, and that's if you want to. Me personally, I don't stop them. Any visions or dreams I get, I welcome it. I'm more, give me all the info that you want to give me. I'm okay with it. But there are people who would use like onyx and obsidian in a pillowcase to try and stop and ground out visions and dreams and stuff. Ooh, Lauren, I bet that is gorgeous. I bet that is into a tree trunk slice. I bet that is absolutely gorgeous. Actually, yeah, my rune set, it's actually burned into ash wood. I looked up and somebody gave me some ash wood that I was able to cut into discs, which Yggdrasil was said to be an ash tree. So I actually, yeah, I used a wood burner to create my runes. So much easier than a knife, TC. So definitely, definitely. No, see, I'm not saying you're trolling at all. I mean, I've heard reports of that happening. I'm not here to judge. Okay, we are going to get ready to wind up here tonight. Because that storm does look like it might be getting a little bit worse on me. What do you mean, Tony? Can dragons be considered a family? There are different groupings of dragons that they usually refer to themselves as flights or clans. So that might be what you mean by the word family there. Whereas the entirety of the group dragons would be a group of entities. And the clans would be the individual like families. So dragons would be the species, the clans would be the families. That might be a more clear way to state that. I hope that helps some. If you're asking if you can build a friendship close enough so that dragons are like family to you, well, that's between you and the dragon, but yes, because technically my guardian, my co, well, even the 9 rulers after all these years, they're family to me. Um, they really are. I couldn't imagine my life without them. Siggy, I'm not 100% sure. I don't do a lot of dream work. That's one of my weaker areas. So I know bits and pieces about visions and whatnot, but when it comes to sleep work and stuff, that's not my strong point. I've worked with some people in when it dealing with the entities they thought was causing sleep paralysis and whatnots. But usually a good sleep doctor is what they needed, like 99% of the time. So outside the paralysis thing, I can only comment on the visions themselves. And I am neither medical or emotional therapist of any kind, nor medical advice at all. Um, so it's really tricky on that. Yeah, see, Mystic Lavender White Wolf. There, so he suggests putting a bag of lavender to keep the mind calm and protection oil to protect the negative dreams, not psychic attacks that may happen. Creating the sachet. There you go. Thanks, Mystic. Well, I'm glad you found the channel too, Siggy, and I am glad to be of help. I do wish dreams were a stronger area in my research. Hopefully, one day I'll get some extra time and dive deeper into them. But right now, I'll help you the best I can in the areas. But that is one of my weaker areas, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. Take it easy, TC. I'm actually getting ready to wind down too. So reminder, we have officially got all the streams on a set time. So no more of this guessing what streams what time. So Magical Coffee Hour this Sunday will be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay? So all live streams are going to start being at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Friday, Sunday. So definitely remember that. We got a great video coming out Tuesday. Keep your eyes out for that. Also, the pathworking video, you guys have gotten some great comments on that. I appreciate all the comments. Everyone who's reached out to me on Discord, um, I did not expect that video to be as popular or well received, but that was a really awesome turnout. Appreciate it. And I do appreciate all your support for the channel and everything you do for us and help us out and helping us get all this information out to all the seekers. That said, I am going to continue attempting to get the Dragon Magic 102 out. We currently do not have a release date because, like I said, I've got a path working. I've got to get moving. I got stuff. Life is happening. Life is really taking hold right now. But we are going to constantly keep working and keep things coming. And if you haven't already, remember we do have a Discord. There should be a link below the video that you can pop in and join the Discord. And that's usually the easiest way to get in touch with me, ask questions, get help. We're building a great community over there. So with that said, everyone, let's hold on. Might have a few more questions before I say official goodbye. But we're going to see here. Everyone, good night. Writing a dream journal is a great idea, Siggy. Definitely keep a dream journal. Mysterious, if you don't have it, it's you can get an app on your computer or your phone. I prefer the computer. Me and my phone fight all the time. But I do know people who prefer the phone. Okay. All right. Cool. I got all the questions. That is awesome. All right, everyone. You have a wonderful evening. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. And I'll see you Sunday for the magical coffee hour. Take it easy. Bye-bye.